When it comes to overseas redemptions, the general wisdom is that a person should book out as far in advance as they can in order to get the best deal. But I have found that that is not always the best situation that will yield the best results. So I want to talk to you about my last minute booking strategy with American Airlines and how it can absolutely make your trip so much less expensive and so much more luxury. So if you would, hit the like and subscribe button and let's talk about it together. Now, general wisdom, as we said, is that you need to go ahead and book out as far in advance as you can. So you look at an award chart for a specific airline or a specific destination, place, time, and you book it as many days as you can in advance, preferably up to about a year in advance, because close to a year is when most award calendars start to open up. So that's when people look, and generally it's held that you're going to get the best deal at that time. However, that is only true with certain programs. And even though it may be true with most programs, there are some where they do not follow conventional wisdom. And one of those is American Airlines. Now, American Airlines has dynamic pricing like so many other programs do. And what that means is that it kind of changes. And it really is, some folks in the space actually kind of call it the roulette wheel or the slot machine of prices, because when you go in, you don't know. From one day to another, it might change drastically, which is both frustrating and also kind of exciting, because you can always, even if you don't find a good deal today, that doesn't mean you won't find a good deal tomorrow. Now, one of the other things that has to be recognized with this is that the reason American is very useful for this purpose is not only does it have great last-minute redemptions at times, but it's also, as is true with its even two competitors, the big U.S. airlines, Delta, United, and of course American, they have the best cancellation and change policies for award flights. So what this means is that if you spend points on a flight, even if you booked it a year ago, and then the very day before you're going to fly, you can cancel that. You're going to get all your points back. You're going to get all your taxes and fees back, guaranteed, even up to the time when your flight's supposed to depart. So that is fantastic, especially when we're considering kind of employing this strategy of last minute redemptions. So what I often will do is I will look out months and months and months in advance, and whatever flight we're hoping to take, I will usually book something in economy on either American, Delta, United, or sometimes on Alaska. And I'll do that because all of those are free, with the exception of Alaska. You do have a $12.50 booking fee that you're going to lose out on. But I can lose $12.50. I'm not worried about that. So I use one of those. And the first step is that far out, I'm going to pick an economy flight that might work. And I'm probably not going to fly that flight. In fact, I don't think we've ever flown that flight. But I get it as a placeholder because I know I can cancel. And I have a lot of points in reserve. And that's one reason I think it is good. People say all the time, don't hoard your points. But if you're going to do a last minute strategy, it's pretty good to always have a big pool of points so you can do this. Because if you're using up your points on the initial redemption, you won't have any to book your second or third flight if you want to be able to pick your best option. So what you do is you book your first flight. It could be business if you find a great deal. It could be in premium economy, or most of the time it's just economy. And then from that point forward, I'm going to start watching. I'm going to watch other programs. For instance, if my initial flight is to Europe, well, then I'm going to open it up and use points.me or points, and periodically, maybe once a week, I'm going to look and see what else comes up. I might do flight alerts and get emails when new things come up. And then I have the flexibility to go ahead and cancel my original flight, which I almost always do. But then I keep watching, and what particularly can be very beneficial is I keep watching up to the last 2 weeks. Because one thing that's unique about American And although I can't tell you this will happen every time, because it doesn't happen every time. It's not universally true. It's just like their program in general. It's quirky. You don't know what different rates you're going to get. But sometimes, and I would say I see this at least half the time, is when you get close in to your flight. So within 2 weeks, things start to really change for the better. So, for instance, last year we were in Rome with a group of friends. I was doing some tours, and we were showing people around and, enjoying everything in the city. And because we wanted to fly with our friends, we didn't get business class tickets. They were paying for tickets. We wanted to fly with them. We flew in economy class. I didn't like it, never do. My back was hurting, so I decided, well, I'm going to see if I can cancel my flight home, still be on the same plane with everybody, but see if I can upgrade up to business class. Sure enough, although American had been charging over 180,000 points for that business class flight home, that one way from Rome back to the US, I found that just 3 days before our departure, they had dropped it to 61,000 points. So I booked it, canceled my return home flight, booked that one, flew home in business class for only 61,000, which was 1/3 of the price they had been charging just 2 or 3 days before. So if I hadn't had the points to be flexible, to be able to buy something and then be watching, I wouldn't have got such an amazing deal on a business class flight. Now, let me tell you a circumstance I'm looking at right now. I've got to go to South Korea to do some work next year. And as I've been looking at dates, because I'm dealing with the bane of all travelers' existence, when you have to deal with a specific date and a specific location, you're very limited. That lack of flexibility doesn't give you as many opportunities. So because of that, I've been finding that in order to get there when I need to get there and having to leave on the day I need to leave, all I'm finding are economy tickets. So that's what I've had. Well, coming home, I canceled my economy because I found a Delta Premium economy for 85,000 points. Now, the great thing about Delta is, like American, you can cancel right at the last minute. So now I'm still looking on that one. But going, I'm still sitting in economy. But I've been noticing that just 1 or 2 weeks out from today's date, whatever that date may be, I can find that they're starting to lower the prices. So you can see over 300,000 points is what they're charging for a business class flight way out a couple months from now. And they're charging well over 130,000 points for a premium economy class ticket. But here just 4 days from right now, when I film this video, they have dropped, and you can get, for just over 100,000 points, you can get a business class ticket. And then if you move it in a little closer, you can get a 95,000 point business class ticket. And they've dropped the premium economy all the way down to 50,000 points from well over 130,000 points. Now, most airlines don't do this, but American, now not every time, not on every flight, not every route, not every trip, but at least half the time I found American starts to lower prices at the last minute. So in order to be able to take advantage of this, you've got to have enough points in your pool to be able to buy something initially and never, ever, ever cancel that first one until you already have secured the next flight. Because what you don't want to happen is you cancel your initial flight and then something happens and this next one's not available. Now you don't have either one. So you got to have enough points in your pool. So this is my last minute redemption strategy. I pretty much do this all the time, even on ones that where I have a pretty good flight and it can be canceled last minute. I will say there are some other sweet spots that can be found. For instance, if you fly on a one world partner from the Middle East to Europe, it's 42.5 thousand American points in business class. And that's true close in, that's true far out. It's just true. So Qatar, Etihad, stuff like that, Royal Jordanian. But every now and again, you'll find, in fact, we found it on our trip. If you want to fly an amazing experience in Etihad's Apartments, that is their first class apartment, which costs hundreds of thousands of points or $10,000 plus if you paid for it cash. Well, in the last 2 weeks, sometimes that opens up to American for 62.5 thousand points, which is just incredible on the A380. So it's just a neat thing. However, I know for a lot of people, this will make you nervous. For a lot of people, maybe they don't have the points to be able to have the pool to do it. But if you can do it, you can save a lot of points, fly in luxury and style, if you employ the American Airlines last-minute strategy. If you would consider my channel membership, I do special redemption videos about stuff like this, and it's just for our channel members. I also early release my videos. It's just $2.99 a month. You can cancel anytime you want. Look at that in the description below. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and let me know what you think about the last-minute strategy with American Airlines. Have you done it before? Does it make you nervous? Does it sound like a good plan? Let me know down below, and I'll see you here next time.